The WNBA might finally lose it at this point. There are rumors all over the place right now. According to reports, Jacy Sheldon and Marina Mabrey have been suspended for their savage assault on Caitlin Clark. Fans saw the league's biggest star get an eye poke, a full-on shove, and no protection. Here's the twist, though. At last, Commissioner Kathy Angelbert opened her eyes.
So lads, today the referees gave the report on the situation, and it's even worse. It's even worse than I imagined, and it was pretty grim.
She's now rushing to put an end to the commotion after being mute for weeks. Was it the media pressure, the fan backlash, or is the league only attempting to maintain its reputation? In any case, the internet is already claiming that it is too little, too late since something is going down. After Caitlin Clark is insulted, slammed, and poked on national television, the league is now concerned. Suspensions are flying all of a sudden. Perhaps the WNBA is using this as an opportunity to say, "Oops, our bad." Okay, let's go back in time. The fourth quarter has begun. The game is close. The tempo is increasing. The level of emotions is high. With her eyes fixed intently on the defense, Caitlin Clark cuts across the lane as usual, and then abruptly bang. She gets a straight claw to the eye from Jacy Sheldon. Clark genuinely flinches and snatches her face at once. This was no accident, and that's the problem. The touch was not accidental. The ball was not attempted. It appeared intimate. Then, rather than retreating, Sheldon gives Clark a firm bump and goes chest to chest with her. Once more, the ball isn't even in play. This is not a defense. It's intimidation. Anybody would do what Clark does. Tries to make room by pushing off. She has no intention of starting anything. Her only goal is to complete the game. However, Marina Mabrey rushes in like a linebacker and throws Clark to the ground, shoving him into the referee, like suddenly gaining full body momentum. Why isn't that a flagrant 2 right away? What caused Caitlin to receive a technical? The officials appear to be watching a different game. Let's take a moment to discuss the officials because, to be honest, the moment they made a poor decision, the whole situation went haywire. First up is Jacy Sheldon. The league acknowledged that she had a wind-up, struck Clark in the face, and that the contact was needless and could have caused harm. Additionally, that is the exact checklist for a flagrant. Why did they offer her a blatant one then? Then Marina Mabrey gave a crazy shove. Caitlin was holding her eye, vulnerable, when it followed the whistle. I cite the league when they say, it didn't rise to the level of ejection. She sent her tumbling into a referee. Please pardon me.
Lined up, and it was to the face. The three of them that is a flagrant 2. By definition, you've described a flagrant 2. Unnecessary contact. Wind up and unnecessary. The 2 of those can be a flagrant 2. And face. You have described, why was it a flagrant 2? You have just described a flagrant 2 as your answer for why it was upgraded to a flagrant 1. You have just described the flagrant 2. What went into deciding Marina Mabrey should get a technical foul instead of something more severe? The contact made by Mabrey did not rise to the level of an ejection. Additionally, it did not meet the criteria for flagrant penalty 2. What exactly, did not rise to the level of an ejection? I'm sorry, what? Did she have to have, for it to be a level of an ejection, did she have to injure Caitlin, or did she have to injure the referee? She almost went through the ref's knee.
What are the specific requirements for being ejected from the WNBA? Take someone to the hospital. This is the icing on the cake. Caitlin Clark was given a tech for reacting by gripping her face while attempting to resist. Make sense of it. It was more than just poor officiating. This was risky. It was evident that the referees had lost all control of the game. Minutes after the last whistle blew, videos of the eye poke, slow motion replays, breakdowns, zoom-ins, and freeze frames of the shove were all over the internet, and the comment sections were blazing. The fans were enraged, not just angry. The same question was being asked by everyone, from casual viewers to ardent WNBA fans. Why is Caitlin Clark unprotected? It wasn't the first time either. Since day one, she has been severely polluted, trash-talked, pushed, and singled out. However, because the entire incident was captured on tape and was unsightly, it struck differently this time. NBA players began tweeting as well. Before you knew it, the WNBA was unable to remain silent once it was picked up by sports shows. They dropped the hammer at that point. Both Marina Mabrey and Jacy Sheldon were suspended. Here's the question, though. If the internet hadn't gone down, would the league have taken any action? Or, like all the others, would this have been ignored? Do you know who said absolutely nothing during all of this chaos? Engelbert Cathy. Yes, the commissioner of the WNBA. The voice of reason is intended to come from this person. The person who is expected to take charge in times of crisis for the league. Crickets, however. When Caitlin Clark was elbowed in the face, she remained silent. Nothing as she hit the floor hard. Nothing, as if Cathy was on vacation and the league was on fire. However, after social media went viral, after ESPN repeatedly played the eye poke, and after fans began yelling, "Protect Clark," Cathy abruptly awakens. She wants to show that she cares now. She is now making claims. She is currently evaluating video and imposing suspensions. When it counted, where was all that energy? She seems more like a firefighter than a commissioner, attempting to extinguish fires that she allowed to burn for an excessive amount of time. This is PR panic mode, not leadership. The supporters aren't duped. It's obvious to the players. Furthermore, it's likely that Caitlin Clark rolled her eyes when she read that comment. Therefore, the true question is whether Cathy genuinely cares or if she is merely attempting to hide the catastrophe she allowed to occur. Let's now discuss Sophie Cunningham, the lone player to stand up during the match. Because Sophie had had enough when the league was sleeping, and the referees refused to defend Caitlin. She took aim at Jacy Sheldon late in the game. I'm referring directly to her. It was clean. It wasn't careless. There was a message. I'm the one you mess with, Caitlin. Sophie was kicked out. Yes. She earned her stripes that night, though, let's face it. She followed the protocol for teammates. She was on her side. And you know what? No one touched Clark again for the remainder of the game. There are moments when you need someone to establish a boundary. Sophie also used bold marker for it. Is she the protagonist of this tale? She certainly wasn't the villain, but that's debatable. The entire incident serves as a wake-up call for the WNBA as a whole, not just the referees. Because why are we here if you can't safeguard your biggest star? Caitlin Clark is more than just a fantastic athlete. She is the reason TV ratings are rising, fans are packing arenas, and jerseys are flying off the racks. The league is being altered by her. She's being treated like a punching bag. Despite this, favoritism is not the issue here. This is about maintaining the game's cleanliness and fairness, as well as safety and respect. And the league's reputation is at stake at the moment. What comes next, then? Do they begin to care about protection? Or will this headline be forgotten inside a week? Let me state this clearly. The supporters are not foolish. The eye poke was visible to them. The shove was visible to them. Before the internet compelled them to act, they watched the league wait. Fans are becoming more vocal than ever before. The trend is protect Clark. Games are being boycotted. There are a lot of heated takes in the comment sections. It's not just fever enthusiasts, either. This applies to the entire league. This went too far, according to even opposing team supporters. We all want the same thing in the end, after all. A league that allows the top players to shine without fear of retaliation. You are capable of becoming physical. You are capable of playing tough defense. However, it is not hoop to poke eyes and tackle players off the ball. That is absurd, and supporters are calling for improvements. Let's discuss the worst-case situation. What if this isn't fixed by the league? What happens if Clark is hacked again in the game she plays next? Another egregious incident, another shoddy shot, another referee watching. Clark will eventually say enough. She has choices, international endorsements. The league needs her more than she needs this league. And it would be disastrous if she ever decided to go. You would lose eyeballs, relevancy, and ticket sales. This is about more than one athlete. So if you're in the WNBA, you had best pay attention. Is that how they treat stars in this league? Is the question that every young girl has after witnessing Caitlin Clark. There was more to this than a suspension. It wasn't simply another difficult game either. This was a major turning point that had the potential to influence the league as a whole. On live television, Caitlin Clark, the spokesperson for the WNBA's next generation, was openly assaulted. No one else was taking any action, not even the league or the referees. so Sophie Cunningham had to step in and defend her. The authorities became unruly. Fans, yeah, they raised their voices as the league went into a panic. This was not an isolated event. Everything that had been simmering beneath the surface was revealed. The disrespectful treatment of the one player who has attracted more fans, views, and ticket sales than the league has seen in years, the poor officiating, and the silence from the top. However, it is possible that this is the much-needed wake-up call for the WNBA. Perhaps folks are paying attention now. The referees begin to call it fair. The league at last understands that you can't just let your stars get blown off their heads and hope for the best. Because let's face it, you can't build your league's future while seeing your biggest draw get slammed in the face, pushed to the ground, and held accountable. There you have it. If this entire situation doesn't shout, do better, I'm not sure what does. Once more, the WNBA was caught with its hands off the wheel. The referees go blind. Caitlin Clark is attacked in the middle of the game, and the league does nothing until the internet blows up. As in really? After being criticized by the entire basketball community, Kathy Angelbert ultimately makes the decision to take action. That's not leadership, come on. Doing damage management with a dash of phony haste is what that is. The fact is, however, that fans are not stupid. We witnessed it, we sensed it, and we won't tolerate it. Because this league cannot continue to treat its biggest player like a disposable commodity if it is to expand and gain recognition. Thus, perhaps this is the tipping point. Perhaps this is the moment when the WNBA truly wakes up. If not, though, don't be shocked when Caitlin herself, the sponsors, and the fans say enough. Tell me in the comments now. Do you believe that the suspensions were a genuine act of accountability, or merely a publicity gimmick to quell the ire?